Welcome to Jewel in the Crown, Football Brisbane's podcast about women's football in this wonderful state of Queensland. Now, unfortunately, Greg couldn't make it into the studio for the show this week. Now, he didn't want me to tell you, but the reason he couldn't make it in is he's off celebrating the birth of his new daughter, Josephine. Now, with two daughters, you'd think that sometime down the track there might be some ex-Anley players. Sorry, Greg, I hate to inform you, but sometime down the track there are probably going to be two ex-East players running around in the Women's Premier League. So, Mum, baby, all doing well. So hopefully Greg will be in again next week.
Hello, I'm Tegan Riding from Redlands United, and you're listening to Jewel in the Crown.
Now, on Friday night I got down to watch Eastern Suburbs host Peninsula Power in the Elaine Watson Cup quarterfinals. Good game, good win to East. After the game I caught up with the East Coast, Jeff Herford. Oh yeah, Jeff, good win, 2-0.
It's a win, Pete. We progressed to semi-finals.
Well, that's all you have to do is win.
Yeah, that's true, we do, yep.
A few things to work on at training though.
Just probably some shooting.
Oh yeah, the finishing was a little bit ordinary at times, but you got in behind enough.
Yeah, we created enough chances, Pete, but obviously we just need to hit the back of the net a lot more often than what we are, because we could have killed the game off in the first half.
The last 5 minutes were good. When the pressure went off, they moved the ball a lot quicker than what they did for the first 85.
First half wasn't good, so we lost a lot of ball going forward, and that hurt us a little bit, and they could have had a chance to steal one early, but at the end of the day we held them out, and half time we addressed that and we went on with it in the second half.
Yeah, you got the points, and you left them in it for a long time though.
Yeah.
They could have just snuck one of those balls to Britt Whitfield and it's a goal.
Oh, definitely. We knew she was a danger to us, but as I said, if we could shoot, we'd be dangerous.
Yeah, but I think your centre-backs did pretty well in cutting out a lot of ball.
Yeah, they did well. Yeah, obviously
they played a lot closer together this week.
This week they did. That was one of the instructions.
All right, mate, your players are back. Go and enjoy the win.
Cheers,
See
mate.
Ya. Just finished watching the East game, and I'm here with the former Power coach, Dave McDonald, and the current Taringa coach, Kelvin Wheeler. Dave, you're down here checking the game out for who?
Yeah, I'm a parent now, Peter, and thoroughly enjoying my life as a parent, so I just out looking just to see how the Premier League's shaping up this season, and yeah, it was a good standard of football from both sides. Both sides created some opportunities, so it's good to see that the league is panning out to be quite successful, even though this was the Elaine Watson Cup tonight. So yeah.
So your daughter plays at the Gap. So how did that work when you were coaching Power and she was playing at the Gap?
You should know better than that, Peter, that parenting and coaching don't go together, and that's part of the reason that she was at the Gap and I was at Power.
So now you're just enjoying being a parent, watching the Gap play?
Enjoying coffees at the various grounds throughout the southeast of Queensland, yeah. Thoroughly enjoying it.
I might be joining you.
Yeah.
Kelvin, what did you make of that game?
I thought East dominated the game, had a lot of chances in front of goal, couldn't convert in the first half. Power denied a penalty when Britt went down in the box. Overall, though, East I think deserved the win, but it should have been maybe like 5 or 6 goals instead of the 2.
Well, fair enough. Well, Kelvin, good luck for the rest of the season. Yeah, I know you're going to play Power shortly.
Yeah, we play Power next week, so came down just to check them out.
So you've got it sussed out for next week?
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right, Dave, thanks for having a chat.
Thanks, Peter.
And hopefully we'll see you around a few more games.
That's great. Thanks very much for your time.
And now just to recap the results of the Elaine Watson Cup quarterfinals. Eastern Suburbs with a 2-0 victory over Peninsula Power. Southwest Queensland Thunder, 3-2 winners over Redlands United. UQFC, 2-1 over Sunshine Coast Fire. And Annalee 1 lost to the Gap 3. So your semi-finalists, East, Thunder, UQ and the Gap. And it's now time for the Red Riding Report. This was our first game under new coach Emily Gilnick, with the Redlands having a number of key players missing and only one substitute who was carrying an injury and only came on the field late in the game. Even Joe Agoli was absent, however our fill-in did an excellent job for us. It was a very tight game, it went from end to end. Thunder were quick to attack the ball holder and were pretty successful in stopping a number of Redlands plays, and the game became a real tussle. Thunder opened the scoring in the 30th minute of the game to the delight of their supporters. Kim Hart scored for Redlands in the 38th minute to bring the score to 1-1 at the half-time break. The second half saw a yellow card, then an immediate red card issued to a Thunder player for abusing the referee. This followed shortly after with the Thunder coach having been removed from the coach's box by the referee. Our coach was warned shortly after, and the Thunder spectators were also warned. It got interesting, and it was here the motivational encouragement coming from the coaches to the Thunder players of get cranky. Thunder scored again in the 55th minute of the game before the score was levelled when Holly Houston scored for Redlands in the 70th minute. The score then 2-2. A penalty to Thunder in the 74th minute was successfully turned into a goal with a great long shot from outside the box. It was a long drifting ball falling just under the top bar, so it was virtually unstoppable for our goalie, but she made a great effort. Redlands could not score a game before full time, so the final result was Thunder 3, Redlands 2. There really was not much in it. It was a game that could have gone either way. The game was played in cold conditions with a shower of rain just before the start of the game to make the field and the ball a bit slippery. There was a major thunderstorm just after the game, which made packing up and the trip back to Brisbane a nightmare, which didn't make us feel any better about the loss. Well, there you have it. That's the Red Riding Report. Thunder advancing to the semi-finals of the Elaine Watson Cup with a 3-2 home win over Redlands. Speaking of the Thunder, a couple of weeks ago, Greg and I were having a bit of a joke about how cold it was in Toowoomba and how well the Strikers were playing because they had to do so much movement. And Greg mentioned that perhaps the goalie wasn't very good. Well, we apologise to the Thunder keeper. We didn't mean to infer that she wasn't a good keeper. We know she's a good keeper, otherwise she wouldn't be playing in the South East Queensland League. So, goalie, our apologies. UQ hosted the Sunshine Coast Fire in the Elaine Watson Cup quarterfinals, and Honour sent in this report. UQ played poorly and gave a few of the young BPL players a chance to step up, but were still too good for Sunny Coast. Really missed I and Georgia Chapman in this game to control the flow up front. The basic game plan seemed to be playing Sunny Coast half, and this is what separated the teams. It was too much time spent in the wrong end of the park for Sunny Coast. UQ missed so many good chances it was frankly quite disappointing. Greta scored the first goal but had an off game and should have netted quite a few more. Rachel Smith scored the winner with only a handful of minutes left in the game. It was a score from a goalmouth scramble where a header was deflected off her nose into the goal. Gee, I don't know, I've seen her score off a shin and now a nose, but she still gets in there and gets the goals. Refereeing was excellent with a free-flowing game. Sunny Coast maybe listened to the East and went to the niggle, but it was only only annoyed the uni girls, and I suspect they dish it out in their next meeting to return the favour. Dangerous tactic to use too much niggle, especially against an experienced player base. Scoreline indicates there'll be no easy games in the top 7. Should be a great competition. This was the last game for Tessa Klump, right back for uni. She'll be missed. Sounds like her uni, St. Louis, is keen to send more players our way next year. Also, some J1 players are interested after I's successful integration here. We shall see. Well, Lotta, thanks for that. So, a good 2-1 win to UQ in the Cup, progressing to the semi-finals. And who would have thought that at the start of the year? Well done to UQ. And of course, this week sees the beginning of round 1 of the SEQ WPL 1 competition, or the top half of the table. So effectively round 2 of the South East Queensland WPL, so the Women's Premier League. So on Friday night at Heath Park, 6:30 p.m, Eastern Suburbs are at home to UQFC. Now, having watched Eastern Suburbs play the Cup game against Power and been tracking UQFC, I think this will be a tight game, but I think UQ will just be trying to get into that top 2 coming into the final. So I think UQ, for me, they're in really good touch at the moment, and East stop starting, not scoring as freely as they'd like. So I'm going to go with UQFC. Then on Saturday, the 5th of July at 6 p.m, out at Cleveland Showgrounds, Redlands at home to Palm Beach. So this is a tough game for Redlands coming off that Elaine Watson Cup loss. Palm Beach, we're not quite sure how many players they'll have available with the American college system starting to kick into gear and school holidays. But I still think Palm Beach will be too strong for Redlands this week. And I think Emily Gilnick, as the new coach of Redlands, is going to find out that it's tough at the top. Then on Sunday, 3 p.m, over at Annerley, Elder Oval, the other home ground for Olympic are hosting Sunshine Coast Fire. I think Sunny Coast Fire are going to cause an upset here. I think Fire are going to get over the top of Olympic just by the odd goal, but they're going to close the gap on that 5th and 4th spot. And of course, with only 7 teams in the top half of the table, someone has to have a bye, and in this week, it's the Gap. And of course, now that the SEQ WPL competition split into 2, the second half of the competition, which is effectively the WPL Plate competition, sees Peninsula Power taking on Taringa Rovers. This is Friday night, 8:30pm out at AJ Kelly Park. Now, Power are in good touch. They're a bit up and down, but they've forced their way to the top of the bottom half of the table. I think they'll be too strong for Taringa Rovers this week, even though Kelvin checked them out last Friday and thinks he's got the answers. I think Brett Whitfield will just need a couple of opportunities and Power to take the points. On Saturday, 5pm at North Ipswich Reserve, Western Pride hosting Mitchelton. Now, Mitchelton have been on the slide for a while, haven't got any points. The last points they got was actually a win against Western Pride in round 1. Can they do it again, or will Pride pick up their first points of the season? I think this might just be a tough game for Mitchie to go out to Pride, and Pride will be on a roll, looking to get some points. First half of the start of the new competition, I think Pride might pick up a point here. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. On Sunday, 1pm, also over at Elder Oval, which is the home of Annerley. Annerley are hosting Southwest Queensland Thunder. Annerley have got some great momentum going. Tough loss to the Gap in the Cup. Southwest Queensland, big momentum with a big win over Redlands in the Cup. Southwest Queensland Thunder for me. And of course, someone has to have a bye. So South United, you get the weekend off. And as Greg would say, that's your lot for this week. Now, before I go, just one more thing. I seem to recall that Brazil and Argentina are still on track to meet in the final of the World Cup. So my bet's still on. Greg, hope you're listening. I'm still in there with a shot. So that's it from me. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.